Hey there, I'm Ashley, and this is New Day with Ashley. If you're looking for inspiration to make a difference and create lasting impact, then you're in the right place. Get ready to be encouraged by the stories of my guests who have taken risks, overcome challenges, and created opportunities. It's time to make the most of your new day. My guest today believes in the power of being American-made. What began as a post-college side hustle has now expanded into a full-scale, sustainable wood manufacturing plant. Seth Carlson is the founder and president of Dakota Timber Company. They are in the business of selling wood goods that tell a story.
Yeah, originally went to college thinking I was going for engineering.
Okay.
The first, semester was doing my engineering courses, and then actually switched to geology for the rest of that year. And then into my second year, continued going for my geology degree while I was, because with theater, you had to actually audition into the program. So it was like a full year before they accept you into the program. So I was doing my geology courses simultaneously while in the theater program trying to get in. And then I finally did that second year at the end of the year, got into the program.
Okay, and dropped the geology.
Yep.
Okay.
But that was really, I really did enjoy that.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. But yeah, so I have a BFA in acting. Definitely didn't know where I'd be where I am now.
Okay. I was going to say, did you wanted to go into acting then?
I didn't really know what I was after college. Like anyone who's done with college, you're just like,
well, how are we supposed to know what we want to do?
Yeah, you leave.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
I know. And like college, you look back at it, you're like, damn it, that was so plush. I just lived in this perfect little bubble. On campus, I didn't even know the 2008 recession was a thing because I was in college during it. And after I graduated, I was like, what? There was a housing crisis 2 years ago?
I was in my dorm.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that.
Unaffected, yeah.
Yeah, so most kids get done with college and they're just like deer in the headlights, because it's like, oh crap, what do I do now?
Now what? Yeah.
So,
but acting, you had to build some of the sets.
Yep. So did a lot of work just, during, I was in a ton of shows, but also, during the semester, you might work, on the technical side of things for different shows. So yeah, doing lighting and sets and sound and whatever. But yeah, did a lot of carpentry, scene building, and me and my buddy, we're always trying to figure out how we could we're broke college kids. So we were always trying to figure out how to make cash. Sure. And we would go in the scene shop at night and make stuff to try and sell on Craigslist. Okay. Or so we would we were making all this random crap. One time we were making tap dancing floors, portable tap dancing floors to sell to all the kids in the tap dancing classes. Sure. And we sold a ton of them. Wow. And we were oh my God.
People actually bought our stuff.
Yeah. And then, but we were doing it in the scene shop at night and making money. I don't know if that was legit or not.
It was probably scrap materials anyway.
It was literally, I remember we were pulling stuff out of the dumpsters to make them. Yeah.
So. Resourceful. So it's always been part of your, so what brought you back then to this area?
Well, after college, I was doing platform bed frames. So the whole building wood stuff during college evolved into me I built a couple platform beds, and then I realized I sold on Craigslist, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I kept selling more and more, came up with new designs.
So now you would buy materials.
Yeah, so I was buying material, making platform bed frames, really modern, simple ones. Yeah. And it got to it blew up. And I was selling dozens of these bed frames a week by myself. Okay. So I was driving all over Minnesota, delivering bed frames, driving down to the Twin Cities every weekend to deliver bed frames. Wow. And this went on for 2 or 3 years after college. And then I kind of got burnt out because I was doing it by myself. So I was screw this, sold all my machines, whatever. Really? And was I just need to do something else. It's way too overwhelming. So I just kind of hung out living in my dad's basement. And then one of the companies I was buying wood from to make these beds was going out of business. Yeah. And I was oh, well, maybe I should see if I can buy some of their inventory and just sell it. Okay. I thought I could just oh, I'll just go buy their inventory from the bank and then sell it quick and make a bunch of money.
Sure. Okay.
And I was like, yeah, it'll just be an easy one and done, flip it, move
Sure.
on, go do something else, make some money and then just go ride
Figure out-
bike for a
yeah.
year or something. And that evolved into literally getting, I think I got 3 semi-loads of wood, and I was like, I don't know where I'm going to bring it. So I just was like, screw it, I'll bring it to Fargo.
Okay.
And because I didn't know what to do with it. So I hauled these 3 truckloads of wood from Superior, Wisconsin to Fargo and started trying to sling it. And very shortly realized, like, well, you can't just sell like a pile of wood. You need to like make finished product.
Okay.
So it went from me trying to just sell raw wood to people without, literally
Right.
just like raw,
You make your
unprocessed
own
wood. Yeah, you make your own thing. And then I realized people were like, oh, but do you have this or this or this or this? And then I, over the years, just kept acquiring more machinery to be able to process more and more and more. And then, here we are almost 10 years later.
Wow.
So, but it literally, that's how it started. And I bought the wood from the bank. I had no money, but I had like 2 credit cards that had $1,000 limit on each.
Okay.
And I withdrew cash from an ATM. So when you do that, you like pay the interest.
Oh, sure.
So it's like, if you want $100, you pay $20 interest at the ATM.
Okay.
But I drew it was like $1,000 or $1,500 of cash from a credit card to pay for the
Pay
wood.
for it. Wow.
And
Yeah.
then when I got the trucks to pay for the trucks, I just hoped that I would sell enough before the bills were due for the freight. And luckily I sold enough to
Sure.
pay the truckers. So
Wow.
it was like very,
Cutting it like,
yeah, very risky, 20-something-year-old kid trying to.
but you figured it out. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
guess.
pretty genius to figure out how to
Yeah.
hack the cards.
I
no?
mean, yeah, just, wheeling and dealing back
Right.
in those days. So,
And I remember in Moorhead. Did you have like a location in Moorhead for a little bit?
yeah, I was originally like those first, couple of years in Fargo in a tiny little shop.
Okay.
I mean, teeny tiny. And then we moved over to the Moorhead side.
Okay.
Because we were just looking for shop space, and that's kind of what popped up, and it was affordable. So we were over on the Moorhead side for a couple of years, and then came back to Fargo.
Because I'm pretty sure I still have the Christmas tree.
Oh, scrappy trees.
Scrappy trees.
Yes, that was a fun endeavor. So yeah, the scrappy trees are cool because they're these cool little trees you could assemble.
You could do it yourself. You bought the, I don't know, like a
Little
stump
base.
with
Yep.
the base with a rod.
Yep.
And then you could put your own boards on. I have some that have like, words on or.
Yep. Yeah, so
I
that
got
was
a scrappy tree stuff.
That's awesome. I remember that like when we did that event, I was like, oh my God, like ton of people
showed up.
And
Yeah.
it was just me and Ashley, my wife, doing that first year or whatever. And then we did it a couple other years, and then we haven't done it in a while. So we
Okay.
might have to bring back the scrappy trees.
Scrappy tree. It was a cool
Scrappy
event.
tree workshop. It's a fun like date night thing for the
Yeah.
holidays. So
Yeah. I was not on a date. I was with friends, but
well, yeah, or friends.
Yeah.
That's actually, it's usually groups of friends
Right.
that come, or like
but it would be
parents
it would be
with
a
their
great
kids.
date night.
Yep.
Hallmark movie type
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So, this business is going out of business and you decide to buy it. So feel like, isn't that like a red flag? Like,
Well, I didn't buy the business. I just bought their
Oh, you
inventory.
bought their inventory. Okay.
That was left on the ground.
Got
so
it.
yeah, that business. Oh gosh, there's probably been half a dozen entities that have tried to run that business
Oh,
and
okay.
failed, and it's kind of like whatever. So at that point I just had bought just the small amount of inventory they had, and then I don't know what happened from there. Somebody else took a shot at that business. Several people since then have taken a shot at that business, but
so after
sure how
you buy this, you kind of like realize, okay, this is a legitimate business. Mm-hmm. So Dakota Timber Company is founded. Mm-hmm. And, was there any business advice someone gave you of like to start it?
I mean, like, no, like the structure of how this specific business is going to be run and operated was definitely, I was very much on my own in terms of figuring out the logistics of how I wanted to shape my company was very much in my head, but all of the all of the standard protocols for running a business, operating a business, I had tons of support. So my dad is a banker, financial guy. So he's very low risk, conservative decisions in terms of finance. So I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, or I was at that time.
Fly by the seat of my pants. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that time, but it was good to get advice from him because it keeps
soundboard.
Keeps you grounded and okay, you need to pay attention to this, for your financials, and then just tons of other support around. I mean, Fargo at that time, in the early 2010s, was such a crazy cool place to try and start a business. Because it still is. It's a small enough town where you can get your name out. But it's got a big enough consumer base for you to really succeed. So Fargo truly is, I think, if you're an entrepreneur, one of the best places in the country to start a business. Forbes would never recognize us because they don't care about small towns like this. But when I see the Forbes list of best or towns to start a business and live and grow or raise a family, I'm they don't even pay attention to us, but I truly believe we would be at the top of the list.
Yeah,
if somebody actually researched Fargo, just because it is that, it's just that sweet spot. If we were a little smaller, it's oh yeah, you can start a business, but then are you going to have enough consumers to buy your product?
Wow, what a great episode. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always so inspiring sharing these stories. To listen to the full podcast, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. Remember to like and subscribe. I would love if you could leave me a 5-star review. This helps us reach and engage with more people. Join me next week, and until then, make the most of your new day.